Good morning, Magic players. Welcome to the morning show where we talk Magic. You ready? Get your coffee brewed up because I'm ready to be talking about Magic the Gathering today. Modern is in a whole new world. We're getting the opening results, and we're going to talk about that today. And also, we do deck list review. So if you got a 75 you want some feedback on for all the competitive formats submitted to us, and both myself and the community, we can give you that feedback. Brew up your cup of coffee and brew up that magic. Welcome to Coffee and MTG for February 22nd, 2021. I am your host, the Nikachu Merfolk Master, and let's get on with the day. It's a whole new world out there. Everyone's pretty excited for it. Snuffleupafish. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Frederick, Cactus of Ishmok, Vaughn, the Iron Warlock, Casper Soul. That is a name I have not heard in a while. Good morning, chat, and most importantly, good morning, Nikachu. Good morning. You're early. You're early for once. I'm not early at all. I'm on my late. I'm late as usual. Good morning, Hawkburn, Cactus of Ishmok. Am I the only one seeing the greeting screen? I think a lot of other people probably saw it as well. I'm wondering, how do I submit a deck list for deck list review? You got to just be ready for deck list review. But what it comes down to is that there is a there's a link in my description to my Discord. Follow the link to my Discord, and there is a channel for deck list review. And then enter the command with the link, and boom, you'll be eligible. Good morning, Mobile, Alexandros, Olaf the Snowman, Mark Oliver. Who's with my microphone? Get out of my way. Lilbird, what is the best site in your opinion to show deck lists? I don't know the best one. I just know the worst one. Deckstats.net is a pile of shit. I like MTG Goldfish quite a bit, but I can't say it's like the best. I can't remember. There were some other ones that really blew my socks off. Like they were really nice and very big and visual. Just Deckstats.net is garbage. Morning, MTG Ectoplasm. Good morning, Harold Massimo. Good morning. BBB, where? Fraser, Ramon, Harold, Snuffleupafish, Maddie, good morning. Morning, Jack. Another fantastic modern meta. Once Teferi goes, the meta will be perfect for everyone. If Blue Eye Control really needs a crazy push tool, ban Teferi and unban Ponder. There's a lot of people who push back on Ponder. I can't believe people are so passionate about the cantrips getting unbanned. It's so powerful. Power a lot of people throw around the word powerful, and in my opinion, and I take a close to dictionary definition of power, it's being able to impose your will on the opponent. And I don't know if Ponder meets that definition. It creates consistency, but consistency does not equal power. Morning, Dante Ramon. Use Scryfall for deck list review. Sweet stuff. Yeah, Scryfall's not bad. So long as it I can see the deck list, and I can hover my mouse over the cards and the card shows up. It's just like deckstats.net does such a dog shit job of doing that one thing. So I'll always point out deckstats.net, and it's nonsense. Anand, any tips if Oops All Spells will remain a deck after the removal of Simian Spirit Guide? Oops All Spells 100% will be a deck after the removal of Simian Spirit Guide. I'm already seeing a lot of screenshots of the deck being heavily played in Modern right now. Well, heavy is might be a bit of an exaggeration, but it's definitely going to be a deck. It probably is like the premier Goldfish to turn 3 combo deck, because all you need is like some sort of artifact ramp at 2 mana, and boom, you're good to go on turn 4 with either Undercity Informer or Balustrade Spy. So like that deck lost its turn 2 kills, but that's it. It still has consistent turn 3 kills, so they're in good shape. Morning, Terry. I'm on sup. Tapped Out gives a lot of great metrics like colors versus mana colors and mana base average curve. All right, Tapped Out is a neat one. So if you're new to the show, you haven't been here before, this is how it works. I'm getting comments all over the damn place, millions of them. You want to get your questions answered, use 3 question marks before the question, 3 question marks after the question. Or if you are on YouTube, you can donate with super chats, and it'll help push your question above everybody else's. Assuming it's not bugged. Some days it's like a little bug that I don't see or I don't know, the first donation, I don't get any notification. Marco says, my idea from a couple years ago that most cards that cost 0 will be banned is slowly shaping up. Now I'll wait for Street Wraiths, Metamorphose, and Mishra's Bauble. Somehow I don't feel like Street Wraiths... Well, I mean, I shouldn't say that, but Street Wraiths maybe can get banned, but I think for the most part, Street Wraith is a little bit more fair. It's cycle for two mana, whereas Gitaxian Probe was the same thing, except it got like information from your hand. Mishra's you know what? Anything at 0 mana, like an actual spell at 0 mana that hits the battlefield, always in contention for getting banned. Mox Amber, you look like weak crap today, but 10 years down the line, you might be broken in half as well. I said when Mox Amber was printed. Let's get Mox Amber up here. So like when Mox Amber got revealed, I'm like, you know what? This card is probably crap, but like they're playing with fire here. Like there's got to be some way under some circumstances somewhere down the line this card is going to be great. Boy, look at the price at $25. It used to be like $5 or less. It was like garbage. No one wanted this thing because it couldn't be found. It couldn't be played in any deck. All right, here come the questions. Mobile, what is the best way to answer questions and feedback when you get picked for Decklist review? I once got picked and had no idea how to answer your questions/comments so that you could see them. Oh, that might have been my bad. I should be paying closer attention to the chat when I'm doing Decklist review, so that's not your fault. You just say whatever you can in the chat, and hopefully I'm paying attention. I'm looking at it. I have to be simultaneously looking at the chat while reviewing at the same time. Usually I am, but not every time. Sometimes I'm ignoring chat. Sorry about that. Hawkburn, have you ever played the new Elves deck? Any tips to beat them? Oh, you mean to play against them? You got to kill their Elves. I mean, it's simple as that. Elves is a synergistic deck. I will say this much. You have a lot of room to ignore the mana Elves. Like, if they play Llanowar Elf, just be like, fuck it, just let them have that. But then when they play something like Elvish Archdruid, like, once they play, like, a relevant elf, that's the one you should kill. So killing their mana dorks doesn't really matter. They've got millions of mana dorks. They have a lot of mana elves. They, like, have Elvish Mystic, Llanowar Elves, Heritage Druid. Heritage Druid, under some circumstances, you can kill. But they don't have as many high-impact elves, like elves that really make a difference in the game. And Elvish Archdruid is one of them, where it's either a Lord or it adds an obscene amount of mana. So, and I mean, it depends on your deck. If your deck has like millions of removal spells, kill the mana dorks as well. But if your deck has limited removal, aim it at the impactful creatures, leave them with mana dorks, and their deck usually sucks. Basketball. So how is Scapeshift a deck again? Thought Dryad was its death, not Uro and the combo decks. You know what? Let's go take a look at one of the lists. Okay, one of them made 9th place in the recent Modern Challenge. Oh, it's the bring. Oh God. So it's a 5-color Bring to Light deck. Look at that, 1 Valky just to tutor for it with Bring to Light. I know it. So this particular one Scapeshift? How can you call this Scapeshift with only 1 fucking Scapeshift? It's not a Scapeshift deck. 2 Valakuts, though, all the same. How did this get... I don't understand. This is more of an Omnath deck than a Scapeshift deck, but sure, whatever. Only 1 Scapeshift, so you just completely depend on Bring to Light. Like the old Bring to Light decks, you would play like 3 to 4 Bring to Lights and 4 Scapeshifts, so you have like 8 copies of Scapeshift in your deck. Anyway, I don't understand that. So, but here's the thing. How is it a deck again? Because right now, for the last week, people are just playing whatever they used to own. They're trying to bring back all their old decks. A lot of people are... I mean, do you remember how many people were asking about, hey, why can't I play Titan Shift? What's up with Titan Shift? What about Scapeshift? You know, a week coming up to those bannings, people were wondering, hey, can I play my old deck? And that's why, I assume a lot of people own Scapeshift online. Because Scapeshift was a stock archetype for forever. forever until Dryad of the Elysian Groves was printed, and then all of a sudden it just disappeared. So it was a lot of people own this deck, and they're trying to see if it's good now in today's modern metagame, along with a lot of different archetypes. Will it stand the test of time? I don't know. The results overall for this modern challenge don't look great for the Scapeshift community, because there's only once, like, and that was a pretty, I don't know about that Scapeshift deck. That's not as Scapeshifty as I would have assumed. What is this? Is this a Wooburg Scapeshift deck? No, this is oh, this is Oops All Spells. See? Oops All Spells. Still good. Why is it called Wooburg though? It's Oops All Spells. So here we got Oops All Spells. Oops. Is the music too loud? No, music's good. So that was in the top 32 of the recent Modern Challenge, but there's only one Scapeshift deck. Oh, there's a second one. We got a Bazing. Maybe we're gonna see more. Again, it's the Bring to Light version. One Scape, really? How can we call this a Scapeshift deck? It's basically a Bring to Light deck that randomly can win with Scapeshift. And it's really trying to leverage Omnath, I think. They ain't Scapeshift. This is Scapeshift. Anyway. So, Bring to Light Scapeshift was a archetype for a very long time. It sort of looks like Niv Mizzet-less Niv Mizzet with a random Scapeshift in the deck. Okay, let's move on with the questions. Tons of great questions here. What's your opinion on Metamorphose? Clearly can be broken in half one day. And maybe we've already reached that point, but I think for the most part, it's used in a very fair manner. I think if Storm somehow created like very consistent turn 3 wins, even through a lot of disruption, it would be a problem. But fact of the matter is Storm actually doesn't win through a lot of disruption, or at least not by turn 3. So I think Metamorphose, you know, obviously this is a card that one day could be in the contention of getting banned. People have been talking about it for years. I think we're actually still pretty far from that actually being a reality. Like maybe one day, but today it's pretty far from it. Morning, Ben. Is Giftstorm the best budget deck in the format besides Prowess? You could say that. I was doing some research not too long ago about what my next like best powerful budget decks would be. And another one possibly is Dredge, if you only look at the price online, because the fetch lands and stuff are cheaper. I don't know if this is still true. Is there a Dredge list that I can quickly stare at? Oh, what did I do? And Dredge is like by default like the best. It's not as cheap as I'd like. 170 ticks. But I've seen Dredge lists for like less than that. Maybe, what is the money? Oh, it's in the Scalding Tarns. Well, if you just fuck the Scalding Tarns off, you'll be fine. What do you even need the blue mana for anyway? So it's inflate. Oh, this is the paper price. Let's look at Arena. Still Scalding Tarns taking up the budget. So like Dredge is probably the best deck on a budget. Like it's outrageously powerful. It's really resilient to hate cards. Because it's got a lot of answers to all your hate cards. I mean, if you have like Grafdigger's Cage on the battlefield, they just need to get their Blast Zone in the graveyard, Life from the Loam back to their hand, and crack it, and then you're dead. And they have the time to do this, because if you're taking the time to mulligan to your hate pieces, they have the time to go look for their answers to the hate pieces. So ideally, you're not mulliganing too far for your hate pieces, because they depend on you going to 5 cards. I should say, I need to make a video on this. I have a completely different perspective on Magic now that when I played that Tibalt Trickery deck. Because here's the thing. So just playing this deck forces my opponents to mulligan consistently to 5 or 3 cards, because if they can't find Dranith Magistrate or something, then they have no chance of winning, because I will win on turn 3. I will absolutely win on turn 3. So here's the deal. Even if you find the Dranith Magistrate, the problem is if you mulligan down to like 5, 4, or 3 cards, your clock sucks. Like, it's just bad. You can't win the game very fast. That gives me a lot of time to find my hate pieces to your stuff. So, I mean, I can easily turn 3, play Tolaria West, look for what's it called? Blast Zone. Play a Blast Zone on turn 4, tick it up, then crack Blast Zone on turn 5. And I have that time because my opponent mulligans so far down to find hate pieces that doesn't work anymore. And also, even if they followed up with like Damping Sphere. So you need like a good clock, and that's hard to have a good clock against combo decks. Or I should say even these sort of aggro decks. When you are mulliganing to the hate pieces. And if you don't mulligan to the hate pieces, you just lose to the deck, period. Any card you want to try but still didn't get a chance? There's a few. Maybe Realm Walker. There's got to be another blue card, though. I wouldn't mind still trying out, like, Mystic Reflection another time, because I don't think I fully got the value out of that card. Any thoughts on Is It Blitz? Very strong deck. Really good right now, because by default, you should have just a proactive game plan. No one knows what to react to yet, so... and even after people react to it, Is It Blitz will still be a really strong deck. Always was. Thoughts on slivers in Modern? Not interactive enough. Now, maybe there's a good sliver list out there, but hey, weak to Blood Moon, very like decent aggro plan, but not very interactive in my opinion. Unlike Spirits, where they have like Mausoleum Wanderer, Rattle Chain, Spell Queller, so you can end up getting goldfish by some other deck. It's a fine deck, but someone needs to build it with interaction. And maybe the interaction, if you can squeeze enough blue cards in it, maybe you can play Force of Negation. That's a step in the right direction. Troy McClure is a merfolk lover? I don't know. I know who Troy McClure is, the famous actor from The Simpsons. Grandmaster Merfolk Master, why is Brimaz King of Oreskos not being played in Death and Taxes? This card looks like a house. Oh, this thing. It's a good card, but at 3 mana, they have better things to do. Like, they have Flicker Wisp. They've got Skyclave Apparition. This card doesn't technically do anything when it enters the battlefield. Like, it's a nice card, but right now in Modern, you can't really afford to, like, spend 3 mana to put something in play and it doesn't even do anything. That's, like, the problem with playing Mirror Regery for myself as a Merfolk player. Like, you need to get some value out of this thing, or else it's just gonna die. Like, it's a good card, but it's at 3 mana. That's pretty expensive in Modern, and Death and Taxes just has more important things to play. Not that it can't be played in some meta, but not by default. This is like, it's weirdly I would say it's like a sideboard card or it's meta dependent. Do I need Force Negation in Modern Merfolk to play competitively? Not necessarily. Like, most of the time, I prefer to play with Force Negation, but I've said many times, Force Negation is just like a little bit better than like Mana Leak or Deprive. Like, so, like, really good substitutes are, I mean, this is one if you're playing mono blue. I've played Deprive on mono blue. And by the way, this thing can counter more things than Force Negation does. There's a lot of situations where this is straight up better than Force Negation. Force Negation, however, is better when you want to be tapping out or the metagame's really fast. But if it's a slow metagame right now, maybe Deprive is going to go up in value. And you know, honestly, Mana Leak is not too far from Deprive. And also, if you don't have as many double blue, like if you're playing Simic, I might recommend Mana Leak if you're heavy on Cavernous Souls and Mutavault. But absolutely not. You don't need Force Negation. Do you think Lantern Control could be playable now? Nope. Moving on. How are you feeling about the new meta so far, and how do you think Merfolk feels in this fresh metagame? I hate level 0 metagames. I don't, because Merfolk strangely is like quite a bit of a reactive deck. We don't have any individual powerful cards by themselves. So I need to wait to see what the metagame looks like, and then I will adapt my deck to the metagame. Do I want Harbinger of the Tides? Do I want Tiebiter Mage? Do I want to play with Master of Waves? How many Spreading Seasons do I play? Do I have them all in the main deck? Do I split them between the sideboard? Like, these are really sensitive decisions, and I make a big difference in my win rate in the metagame. And by the way, I don't think Lantern Control is playable just because the loss of Mox Opal really kicked its teeth in. Like, that was really integral to their plan. Maybe it has a little bit of a chance in the metagame right now, just given that there's like no artifact hate. So maybe if you play the deck really slowly, it's still okay. Or maybe there's a blue Lantern Control that's possible with like Whir of Invention to help dump your hand, but I don't know. Vaughn says free spells are always an issue. Thoughts on Aether Vial being unfair? So the thing is, Aether Vial cannot get you any immediate value. It is something that it's it is maybe technically exponential value over the, or it's not even exponential value, it's just like linear value over the course of the game, but like it cannot be abused on the first 3 turns of the game. At best, it will put a 2-drop in play by turn 3 without spending mana. So, and that's within the range of fairness for Modern. If it was somehow killing people on turn 3, that's a problem. But for the most part, you can't abuse Ether Vial on the early stages of the game. It only can be abused on the turns 4, 5, and 6s of the game. Need to break Mox Tantaline somehow. People are. Any comments on the NRG series, Magic the Gathering Online results? It's the latest post on the Discord Fish Modern. I don't know about it. I know that the NRG series finished, but like until it shows up on MTG Goldfish, I just don't know about these things. Did a Merfolk player go deep? I don't know any other reason why you'd mention it. Oh, you fixed Affinity? Any thoughts on Modern Izzet Blitz after the current ban list? It should be really good. Because, I mean, they didn't lose anything. They didn't lose anything. The only problem with Izzet Blitz is that if Modern becomes more of a mid-range format, it probably is going to have to fight through more removal on their creatures. Don't kill the elf. They are just a small green creature. Yeah, that's right. Don't kill the elves. Okay, David says, I agree with your last video where you said that Teferi will be inevitably banned. I want to bring attention to the fact that we are sitting on a ticking time bomb called Underworld Breach. That's true. I mean, but the thing is, like, we still got to prove it. You know, I still live in a world where guilty, I mean, you're innocent until proven guilty. This card obviously is I mean, they banned it in Legacy because like Yawgmoth's Will is also banned in Legacy. There is definitely some deck will break this, but they got to prove it first. Right now, apparently it's unplayable. This card is just unplayable. I can't really say why. It just people haven't found the right shell for it yet. I know Spider Space dedicated some time to look for the deck that would break this card, but he couldn't find it. Basically gives everything in the graveyard flashback. You just have to keep exiling cards for perpetually. Terry says, finishing off my Ren and 6 playset, can you imagine a universe which it gets banned? Only if they print a land that could badly abuse this and they don't want to ban the land. That's the only, you know, like a wasteland type of card. That's the only thing I could think of that will get Ren and 6 banned. Or maybe a new class of lands that they, you know, use like something like the Horizon lands where you just keep getting value, but maybe it's cheaper and less clunky than the Horizon lands. So I don't know exactly what that world looks like, but that's the only real world I can see it getting banned. Outside of that, it's an annoying 2-mana Planeswalker, but I don't think it's overpowered. It's no Uro. It's no Uro. I mean, people with Uro, people will splash blue or green in their deck to play Uro. That's how good it is. People are not splashing green or red in their deck to play Ren and 6. It's not like Izzet Blitz or Mono Red Prowess is splashing green to play Ren and 6 because it's not that good. It's not that good. Yeah, it's value. I think it's very good in a control mirror, but outside of that, it's not that good. I don't think it oppresses like 1 toughness creatures because let's be fucking serious. There's already enough stuff to harm 1 toughness creatures between Walking Ballista, Lava Dart, Gutshot, and Plague Engineer. The strategy you are suggesting is no longer an option. Too many must-kill options now. I've played against Elves yesterday. Turn 2, they had 20 power in play 2 times. I still think it's gonna work, despite your negative opinion. 20 power in play 2 times by turn 2. Are you playing fucking Legacy? Escape Shift will come back when the Broken Dryad is gone. 100%. I almost can guarantee it. People will absolutely just go back to the old Scape Shift decks when Dryad of the Elysian Grove is gone. Because it'll be your best way of playing Valakut. Already answered this. What of Tide Shaper Mystic in Modern Merfolk? Just a bit too weak. And it's like, it's okay. There's been meta games where I'm like, so what it is it's just a blue for a 1/1 creature you can tap to make a basic land any type until end of turn. Play this ability only during my turn. So it can give Island Walk, can sometimes fix your mana as well by turning your lands into like swamps or mountains or plains, whatever you need it to be. But the fact of the matter is it's still a 1 toughness creature, and I'm not a fan of 1 toughness creatures right now. Not a big fan. And also not a fan of 1 power creatures. It's like, okay, there's been metagames where like Merfolk of the Pearl Trident, I sort of wanted it, but it's just not enough, and Tideshaper Mystic just looked better. Before Benthic Biomancer got printed, I thought Tideshaper Mystic was better than Curse Catcher. Is Blue-Red Draw Go viable now that it's a turn 4 game? Yes. So if you want to play like Blue Moon, which is I think you're sort of insinuating, I think that's very, very viable right now. How do you think which new commands at Strixhaven will be playable in Modern? Maybe most of them, especially the black-green one. Black-green looks OP. I think it's a fucking dumb card, actually. Let's look at that. What's the black-green one? Let's go to Mystic Spoiler. I don't really want to make any more like YouTube videos based around like spoiler cards. But I was analyzing this card, and I thought this is just fucking poorly costed. There is no reason this should be 2 mana. So what they're telling us, okay, what they're telling us, chat, is 1 black mana, because you can choose 2. 1 black mana is worth 1 of these effects. So for 1 black mana, target opponent can lose 2 life and you gain 2 life. Or 1 green mana is destroy target non-creature, non-land permanent with converted mana cost 2 or less. Or for 1 black mana, target creature gets -3/-1 until end of turn. Maybe that one is around the same range. That one's fair. I don't know, though. I don't feel like for 1 mana, these things are fair. Mill 3 cards, then you return a land card from your graveyard to your hand. That's like close. I don't know. I think this is undercosted, and it's bullshit as a result of this. It's true. It's sorcery. Maybe that's what makes it fair. What's my favorite 1-drop? Champion of the Parish. It's not even in my creature type. So anyway, that's my thoughts. I think that one's a little undercosted. But let's see. Maybe it won't do shit. I don't know. Maybe it won't do anything. Any old archetypes that you'd like to see come back? Not particularly. Not off the top of my head. I want to see Stoneblade back, and it's back in a big way. Super back in a big way. Have you seen the deck Bishark posted in the Modern Challenge in the Fish Discord? A deck list for Merfolk Charbelcher was posted. What? Tim posted Merfolk Charbelcher. I did not see that. It sounds a bit silly to me, though. So on Merfolk Charbelcher, so it's just playing with lands that it's just playing with spell lands. David France says, morning Nikachu, don't get to catch the lives much, but love watching your videos. You're just a good ambassador for the game as someone who's passionate. Thanks for keeping the interest going. Absolutely. I mean, that's what makes Magic unique for me over other games. It is a game that changes constantly, so it's always fresh and new. And then if it's stale and boring, you can ban stuff and it'll make it fresh and new anyway. Should we build the sideboard based on 2018 Modern? No, definitely not, because 2018 Modern looks totally different from what it is now. Let's not forget, like, we got, like, you know, Modern Horizons and a bunch of other powerful sets through in here. So it's a lot of people are saying, oh, it's 2018. It's not really 2018, people. It's not really that. It's not really 2018. Let's take a break and look at let's look at the top 8 results. Or not the top 8. Let's look at the top 32. So what? This is the Saturday challenge. I don't have access to the Sunday challenge yet, but this was the Saturday challenge. So first place, blue-white control. What did I tell you, people? You can ban 10 fucking cards from this archetype, and it's still good. It's still good. And Snapcaster Mage is back because they don't have Mystic Sanctuary anymore. Look at that. Celestial Colonnade is back. Grab your Ancestral Colonnades. Colonnade used to be like a $30 or $40 card, then just dropped off the map. I mean, now's a good time to get your Colonnades. $8 for 2 copies. That's like $4 a copy. That is a fucking steal right now. That's a steal. So we got really classic looking list. Snapcaster Mage, 1 click, 3 Teferi Time Raveler. And even when that card gets banned, this deck is still going to be strong. Jace the Mind Sculptor. I'm really into... that's interesting. Only 1 Teferi Hero of Dominaria. I actually think this card is much stronger than Jace the Mind Sculptor, but maybe they don't have the curve for it. 4 Opt, 1 Oust, 4 Path to Exile, a Spell Snare, 3 Mana Leak, 2 Archmage's Charm, 3 Force Negation, 1 Timely Reinforcements, 3 Cryptic Command, 2 Supreme Verdict, 2 Shark Typhoon. This is a very impressive showing by this deck because... this is like control usually is not doing very well in week 1 of a new modern metagame, given the fact that, I mean, they don't know what to prepare for. So you even see like a random timely reinforcements in the main, maybe expecting a lot of just like aggro creatures, like the prowess, blue-red prowess. Ether Gust, Rest in Peace, Ashiok, Mystical Dispute, Narset, Parter of Veils, 2 Spell Queller, 2 Timely Reinforce, and a Settle the Wreckage. So this deck is only going to be getting better over time, but it seems almost pretty stock. Just counterspell.deck. Get them counterspells. I admire this deck, actually. All the counterspell. You got Spell Snare, you got the Mana Leak, the Archmage's Charm, Force Negation, just counterspells all day. Counterspells all day. So, I mean, the demise of... Is Urza looking good right now? Hard to tell. Hard to say. I would like to say that Urza is good, but frankly, like, Urza was more balanced than people realized. It wasn't Mox Opal. I still mean to make a video about this, but like people say that Mox Opal got banned for the sins of Urza, but that's horseshit because Urza doesn't see play right now, and it was hands down Mox Opal that boosted it up. So after the banning of Mox Opal and then following Oko, it just doesn't see much play right now. Maybe it's still looking for its deck though. When does spoiler season start? I have no idea. Am I a bad person for building boggles after they banned Ad Nauseam? No, but I don't think you should necessarily jump ship yet. How do you think Logic Knot will be playable in Modern again? You really want to play that card? I mean, it's possible as a one of, but I don't know the true nature about why you would want to play it, except for just sculpting your graveyard, maybe with like a Dimir Inverter deck. We have Heliod Company. Good deck on week 0 of the Modern metagame. This is still going to be a premier combo deck. Always going to be a force to be reckoned with. Solid, strong interaction while still like blowing you out of nowhere with their combo. That got second place. A lot of burn. Let's look at this burn deck. Like this deck has changed hardly ever. Like the last upgrade was Skewer the Critics, and that wasn't even, well, it was like a bit of an upgrade because it helps them play around Chalice of the Void. For 1 mana, they can get around Chalice on 1. But this is so damn similar to everything. Like, good old burn. Where are you, Day 2 Dryden? Day 2 Dryden, where are you? Stock burn. Doing well in week 0. We have a mono red deck. Is it? Oh, it's a Bosch Prowess. So the M Hayashi Special. Swift Spear, Soulscar Mage, Bone Crusher, Giant Season, Pyromancer, all the value cards. Blood Moon. I expect Blood Moon should still be okay in the metagame. What was this? Was this Oops? What the fuck is this? Oh, it's Living End. Blue Living End. Made top 8 of this Modern Challenge. Look at that. Cascade spells to piss off the people who thought that the Cascade spells should have been banned over the last BNR announcement. I thought that was a really silly take, to be honest, that the Cascade spells are busted. It's partially true that they don't do anything. I don't know. Like, cascading into Living End, I don't think is the most outrageous interaction in Modern. And it's like you can easily interact with that interaction. Like every deck has access to Graveyard Hate. Anyway, all right, Blue Living End, top 8's the Modern Challenge. And Mill. And now Mill, by the way, was always a deck for the last little while. Mill's been doing really well. It's just a deck. It's a deck. I can't say it's doing great, but it's not doing bad. It's literally a deck. It's just a solid archetype right now in Modern. That is very hard for me to say, but that is just the damn truth of it all. Which is good for Murpho, because I don't lose to this deck. It's literally a little bit of interaction and just a bunch of mill spells. It's just a weird burn deck practically. But the crabs, people. Get your Oboros. Oh fuck, one Oboro is $85 in paper? Commander players have lost your minds. Pluto Delta's got crept up in price, or maybe I haven't been paying attention to Pluto Delta. Living End is back. This must be Dominoes because I called it. Oh yeah. Yeah, Mill is not a meme deck anymore. I mean, it's just a solid deck right now in the metagame. And then we've got the Omnath shift. There's no fucking way you should be calling this Scape Shift. That is the most BS Scape Shift I've ever seen. And you don't even have 4 Bring to Lights. What is this deck trying to do? It's literally an Omnath deck. I don't know. I guess the deck's trying to win with Omnath one half of the time, then Bring to Light, Scape Shift the other half of the time. I guess that has to be the thing. It's got to be it. We got Dredge. Dredge didn't go away. And easily after the banning of Simian Spirit Guide, I mean, this is like the default super aggro, hard to interact with deck. Let's just put it that way. Playing Vampires in Company right now feels great in the meta. You mean Collected Company and Vampires? Honestly, I've never thought about that, having a Golgari Vampire deck. But it's very intriguing to me. 4-color Death Shadow. Now, I've been seeing a lot of Grixis Shadow. Is this really 4-color Death Shadow? They're splashing green for Grizzly Salvage. Are you fucking serious? Are you serious here? They splashed green for Grizzly Salvage. Okay, sure, this helps you cast your Gurmag Anglers. Because you put it like... Does anyone know what this card does? It's reveal the top 5 cards of your library, put a creature or land card from among them into your hand, put the rest in your graveyard. They splashed green for this. I mean, okay, so I guess what you can put... You just have one breeding pool and that's okay? I don't know. It makes me feel like you're a little bit more weak to Blood Moon just for this one card. You don't even have that many copies. There's 2 copies in here. Maybe it helps them Oh, maybe they want Engineered Explosives on 4? I don't know. That is weird deck design right there. You're not even playing with Tarmogoyf. Why salvage over Stitcher's Supplier? I think it's because you get a card out of it that you can help dig for. You can dig for your Death Shadow or your Gurmag Angler. Stitcher's Supplier doesn't actually dig for anything. It's just ETB, put stuff in the graveyard. What else do we have here? House of Mana playing Dredge. You've betrayed your Titans? How could you betray Titan? Here's Eldrazi Tron. So Tron is already back. I'm saying, well, I can't say that Tron itself left our metagame very long, but Eldrazi Tron is definitely back. I'm seeing more Eldrazi Tron being played, definitely coming into the results. Let's see, is there any difference, or is this just a stock Eldrazi Tron? Looks pretty clean. Clean list. Very, very clean. That is clean stuff. You could eat off of it. It's so clean. Yeah, nothing out of the usual. So Eldrazi Tron doing well. Hammer Time, and I know Laplacian made top 8 yesterday with Hammer Time. So this is still a deck to be reckoned with. Hammer Time actually is probably the very underrated deck until people start playing Artifact Hate. Here's regular Tron. So it's like a lot of people's favorite decks. They're just coming back. They're back here, people. Nothing unusual here. So you can't go back to 2018 for a metagame you got to prepare for. You got to be prepared a little bit for Mill, the Is It Blitz decks, the Mono Red Prowess, the Heal-Aid Company. Those decks didn't exist in 2018. That wasn't a thing. Way back in the day. Is It Blitz, Gift Storm, another Hammer Time, Bogles. Is this serious? The fact that this just made top 32 means there's going to be more Bogles players. Like, I played against Bogles a couple times in the leagues. What is going on here? Not great week with 0 deck against the decks with a lot of removal. I mean, against a Prowess deck, I imagine if you get Daybreak Coronet, it's like over. That's GG. They can just pack it up right there. Prowess ain't fucking beating that card. When do you think spoilers for Time Spiral start? I have no idea. I don't know. I don't know these answers. I don't know those questions. When Wizards... I mean, it probably is announced somewhere, but I don't pay attention to it. Gruel mid-range. So anyway, week 1, super diverse. Really, 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 really diverse. You got a little bit... You got your aggro, you got your combo, you got your control. You know what I'm not seeing here, though? No Jund. That is interesting. We do have Shadow, but no Jund. Huh. Poor Jund players. That's too bad. What do you think of the newer Green Tron list only running 18 lands? It feels really vulnerable to land destruction where previous lists can recover even if you destroy their lands. I think it's fine because the newer lists are now playing with Karn the Great Creator, and they don't depend so much on like millions of land drops. If they hit 4, they're good to go. I think they're okay. Let's see if there's a bunch. I think there's a bunch of old questions I've missed. Why do you think Dreadhorde Arcanist can't flashback spells like Opt-in Bolt in Modern effectively enough to see play? Well, the problem is that card won't even live long enough. I mean, there's just so much removal in Modern, or there's just so many decks that didn't even give a shit about them flashing back Opt and stuff like that, that Dreadhorde Arcanist... Like, Dreadhorde Arcanist is great still in Modern if you're up against a deck that cannot block the thing and also cannot kill it. So it's just going to be as effective in Legacy. But the thing is, in Modern, there's just way more removal, way more interaction, just so hostile to this card. Or the decks just go way over the top with things like Primeval Titan or Tron, and like, okay, flash stuff back, it just doesn't matter. Do you think Sorin Imperious Bloodlord is good in Modern Pioneer? Do you think it is underrated? And how good is it with Silver Smoke Ghoul in Pioneer? Super underrated card. I think this is a very underrated card. It is like one day this card is going to skyrocket in price. You just look every time they make a new set, you just look for the new bomb vampire that they make, because this is a show and tell for vampires. You may put a vampire card -3, you may put a vampire card from your hand onto the battlefield. So it's just a matter of time before they print some stupid busted vampire, and this will go into it very, very well. And yes, I think the interaction with Silver Smoke Ghoul is gas. I think it's very strong. I've played vampires myself and made it work. Still relevant even in this metagame, so I think this is a very underrated card. I don't know about Pioneer because I've never built a vampire deck in Pioneer, but probably it's still good there too. Affinity isn't dead, just add Mox Amber and Emery, Lurker of the Loch. There you go. And actually, I have a lot of respect for that. I think Emery, like I said this in another video, like people should explore Blue Affinity, where you get to play like Emery and maybe Urza and then just the other affinity cards, but just play Blue Affinity instead. And I imagine Emery's got to be gas in Affinity. Like, just keep bringing back everything that you put in the graveyard. Sack your Ravager, bring Ravager back. Actually, I don't know if that interaction's going to be good, but whatever. Thoughts on Inverter, take on Ad Nauseam. I think this is definitely a great direction to take the deck. It already was sort of in that direction. I think the banning of Simian Spirit Guide is going to... I mean, Ad Nauseam is no longer an Ad Nauseam deck, but it is going to move that combo archetype in a new direction. I got my ass kicked actually by an Inverter player the other day. And it was a tough deck. They played with like Gideon of the Trials. They played with several Planeswalkers, including Teferi Time Raveler, who's a really strong, and we just have to wait and see if it can stand the heat of the Modern metagame. but it looked really good. Do you think Restore Balance has potential to be coming in the meta? Honestly, not really. Like, I don't know what this deck's problem is, but it's just never cracked through. There's situations where it's good. Like, for example, Spider Space was playing with a Restore Balance deck. Was he playing with Restore Balance? Yeah, he was playing with Restore Balance, not Living End. But yeah, I think it needs to be positioned in the meta, and I don't know exactly what meta that is. But by default, these decks just don't. I don't know. They just don't have it. They don't have what it takes. And like, yeah, referring to an earlier question, like what would get Wrenn and 6 banned? Wasteland would get Wrenn and 6 banned if Wasteland was printed into Modern. Because that's exactly why it got banned in Legacy. Do you think Urza's Tron will become S tier? No, actually. I think as time goes on, Tron is going to get weaker and weaker, to be honest. I think Wizards is printing more spells to help fight against Tron, just progressively one after another, and they're not really giving Tron a whole lot of new tools. They did get Karn the Great Creator, which helps, but it wasn't specifically for Tron. That was also for just any deck with a lot of mana. So whatever, okay, they got an upgrade, but I think progressively over time, Wizards is continuously printing cards that hurts Tron, not help them. Why is Scapeshift dependent on Dryad leaving? Titan Shift feels pretty good at the moment with it in. So, well, the deal is when Dryad got printed, that gave Amulet, a much faster, more powerful Titan deck, the ability to play with Valakut the Molten Pinnacle, because then all they have to do is play Dryad of the Elysian Grove, which they sort of want to play anyway, just for the ramp and stabilization. But the problem is that if they're the best Valakut deck, then what's the point of playing Titan Shift? Like, that's the problem. It's sort of it invalidated the other archetype in a large way. It like, what was Titan Shift doing better that Amulet couldn't do? Like, that was the scenario. And then Titan Shift just disappeared. It just disappeared. If you wanted to play a Titan deck with Valakut the Molten Pinnacle, people moved to like an Amulet. Or you didn't move to Amulet. You just lost to that Amulet version. So if you ban Dryad, then now Amulet can't play Valakut anymore because they don't have any mountains in their deck, and Titan Shift now becomes the premier Valakut deck. Or any sort of Scapeshift deck, I should say. What do you think about Claim the Firstborn in Modern? I think it's garbage. That's like Steal the Creature, right? I mean, I know this is doing well in Historic. Claim the Firstborn. Gain control of target creature with converted mana cost 3 or less until end of turn. Untap that creature, gains haste until end of turn. It's not as powerful in Modern, I don't think. I mean, it's 1 mana. And has a great picture, actually. This is an amazing picture. So, but I guess you need a sack outlet that also needs to survive. Like, card advantage is a really big deal in Modern. I mean, let's say you have a sack outlet on the board to sack the creature that you steal. You play Claim the Firstborn. I kill the sack outlet. Okay, you gain control of my creature until end of turn. Maybe you deal a little bit of damage, but then you give it back and you're just down a card. Someone has to prove that card is good in Modern. I think it's just unusual that that type of effect is good, period. When will you do your next tier list of Modern bans? Either should be available tomorrow or on Wednesday, depending on how fast I can get it edited. But I intend on recording it tonight. What, my favorite one-drop period? I don't know, maybe Ether Vial? Thoughts on new wording for mana value instead of converted mana cost? Hate it. You know what? I don't know. I mean, it's just one of those. I'll probably live with it. Saying CMC is a bit weird for people who don't know what CMC is, because like it's convoluted to say converted mana cost of for everything. That's like, it doesn't roll off the tongue at all. Hey, I've been speaking in front of people for forever. It's got a converted mana cost of blah 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 blah, but mana value, it's got a mana value as 1, so it rolls off the tongue easier. I'll say mana value. It's just weird, given that we're so used to converted mana cost for such a long time, but I can live with it. Am I a bad person for building boggles? Oh, yeah, I got that question earlier. People try not to post the same question more than once. It confuses the fuck out of me, and it looks like several people are doing it. Because now I don't know where I last was. See, or you do what Chris Menz does. You give the super chats. Blitz versus mid-range. Who do you think wins Brave New Modern? I would imagine mid-range. Well, I mean, I'm not sure, because I know certain Blitz decks, if you talk about like Mono Red Prowess, they've got the grind to outgrind like Jund easily. They have like more than enough value spells. But when it comes to Blitz, I think Blitz has less, but they can certainly leverage Stormwing Entity pretty well. I would imagine, I don't know for sure, but I assume that I would assume mid-range decks beat Izzet Blitz, just because Izzet Blitz also has just not all their cards are gas. There's a lot of air, like opt and stuff like that. So cards that find cards. So when it comes down to it, if they lose their creatures, they're in trouble. But thanks very much for the $5. Thank you very much. What about Splinter Twin Merfolk? This is a nuts idea. Favorite Magic card? Master of Waves. All right, people. You know what time it is, people? It is Decklist review time. So anyone who wanted to get their Decklist ever reviewed, go into the description. There is a link to my Discord. In my Discord, go to my channel, Decklist review, and then use the command !review deck space. Give the URL to your deck list, and then you will be eligible at random for the you'll be eligible at random to be chosen for Decklist review. It says that it puts you in a queue. Don't worry, it's all nonsense. Now, as people are getting ready for Decklist review, we are going to thank our sponsors, starting with FusionGamingOnline.com, my favorite local game store based in Canada. So there's Canadian prices. Do not be fooled by the prices. Deal of the week this week. Do they change the deal of the week every Tuesday? It feels very weird to start and end things on Monday. Anyway, deal of the week, 15% off all Secret Lair singles and sealed products. So if you want to get in on that Secret Lair stuff, get that Undertale Sand Serum Visions, you go to FusionGamingOnline.com. And also, you can get an extra 5% off and support the channel by using discount code Nikachu at checkout. We're also going to thank Mana Traders, the premier place to rent Magic cards online and the best way to discover what is the deck for you in this new modern changing meta game. You can support the channel by using my Mana Traders link in the description below, or you can save 15% off your first 3 months using my coupon code Nikachu. Here's a quick question I can answer. Why do you think Croxa has a lot less impact than Uro? It does have a third ability, but it feels like Black and Red can just fill the yard faster. It's just that Uro is just an outright better card. And I would say Uro did have 3 abilities. Croxa only has 2. It's just a discard and deal damage. That's it. Whereas Uro was gain life, draw a card, put land drop on the battlefield. It's just a lot more value. Croxa is underrated, though. We'll just say Crocs is very underrated. Are you going to make a video about legacy cards that can get reprinted in Modern Horizons 2? Maybe, maybe not. My content strategy is changing on YouTube. That may or may not. It may or may not fit that sort of thing, but maybe I will. What's the best budget deck to get into Modern right now? Mono Red Prowess. I mean, if you're talking about online, Mono Red Prowess or Dredge. On paper, don't know. All right, I think we've got enough people. A few other people are submitting deck lists. I'll give them a few seconds. I gotta enjoy my coffee. I haven't taken a sip all morning. What's the fucking point of Coffee and MTG when you don't drink your coffee? Delicious. Absolutely delicious stuff. Any thoughts on what could be a decent top end for Bant Stoneblade since Uroban? I've been leaning towards Hydroid Crisis. Do you need Bant? I mean, Hydroid Crisis is one way to do it, but probably Shark Typhoon is probably the top end to any deck playing blue like that. Will Elves stand the test of time? It sort of hasn't up to this point. It requires the metagame to be less hostile to their creatures. All right. Let's go, people. Let's go. Intern of Doom. Congratulations. You are the next contestant on Deck List Review. Let's get into those deck lists, people. Some fresh, delicious deck. Oh, Mardu Pyromancer. I love it. Have we seen this before? Okay, Croxa, Titan of Death's Hungers. 4 Stoneforge Mystic. 2 Bone Crusher Giant. 4 Season Pyromancer. I'm sort of surprised on the low numbers of Croxa and Bone Crusher. I hope it gets compensated very well. Fatal Push, Inquisition of Kozilek, 3 Lightning Bolt, 2 Thoughtseize, 1 Ransack the Lab. Look at the top 3 cards of your library. Put one of them into your hand, the rest into your graveyard. Kai's Guile, 2 Kolaghan's Command, 3 Smiting Helix. Sorry, 3 Lingering Souls, 1 Smiting Helix. 1 Sword of Feast and Famine, Sword of Fire and Ice, 1 Batter Skull. Is Feast and... Oh, no, yeah, Feast and Famine is a good one. It's the, you untap all your lands. Untapping all your lands is gas. 2 Blood Moon, 2 Arid Mesa, Blightstep Pathway. Is that what you want in a Blood Moon deck? It does add red mana. All right, well, moving on. One way or another, it's not that big of a deal. Blood Crypt, Bloodstained Mire, Blight Climb Pathway. My only problem is all these pathway cards, they are getting hit by your Blood Moon. Godless Shrine, Marsh Flats, Needleverge Pathway, Prismatic Vista, Sacred Foundry, Mountain, Plains, Swamp. And like you need as many ways to find your plains and your swamps before the Blood Moon comes down. You have Prismatic Vista, 2 Marsh Flats. That's it? You have you might want more... I'm not sure, but you might want more Marsh Flats than Bloodstained Mire. Because, like, how often do you need Basic Mountain? Is Basic Mountain so important? I mean, maybe it is. Anyway, just something to keep in mind. Because these are the most sensitive lands. Nihil Spellbomb, Angrath's Rampage, 2 Collective Brutality, 2 Damping Sphere, 2 more Blood Moon. I like that. Kambal, Console of Allocation, Wear and Tear, Chandra, Torch of Defiance, and another Smiting Helix. You do have Arid Mesa, but Arid Mesa only finds one or the other, whereas I would rather have more Marsh Flats. Like, you only have 1 basic mountain to get anyway, so like this has to be the more valuable land. Because every fetch land can find any shock land, right? So it doesn't matter. So all it matters is how well can you find your basics under your Blood Moon. And I think you should have 4 Marsh Flats and no Arid Mesas, is what I'm getting at here. And I don't know how... I mean, I don't know. I haven't played the deck, so I don't know how good or bad these pathways are. Maybe they're fine. Do I think Dreadhorde Darkness would be good in this list? I don't, actually. I think Dreadhorde Darkness is overrated for Modern. That's why it doesn't see any play. It's just like a deck. It's a deck like this that rips apart Dreadhorde Arcanist. Okay, you play your Dreadhorde Arcanist. It does nothing when it enters the battlefield. Fatal Push it. Thanks for coming out, Dreadhorde Arcanist. And by the way, they'll never fight through all this removal. It will be impossible. And this is not the only type of deck out there like this. So Dreadhorde Arcanist, it has trouble. Okay, so like, why would we not play one? Why would we play other things? Croxa gets value on the battlefield. By the way, if you kill Croxa, it's coming back with Escape. So we don't care how many times it dies. Stoneforge Mystic gets value. You get a sword. You get the Batter Skull. Kill the Stoneforge Mystic all you want. We got another card out of it. Bone Crusher Giant. 2 for 1 built into it, baby. 2 for 1 built in. Stomp that thing and also have a 4/3 creature. So even if you kill the 4/3 creature with your removal, we still got a stomp available. Seasoned Pyromancer. Kill it all the fuck you want. I'm gonna get some tokens out of it when I use its exiling ability. And also we drew 2 cards out of it. So anyway, that's the point. That's why we play with these value cards over Dreadhorde Arcanist, and that's why Dreadhorde Arcanist doesn't see as much play in Modern, because it's not that valuable compared to things that are always getting value when it enters the battlefield. You know what I mean? Anyone have any like suggestions? I don't see anything. I don't really have any good suggestions. I would like to have like another Crocs and a Bone Crusher Giant. Maybe I would get rid of a Ransack the Lab. Like, this doesn't look that important to me. Maybe I'd have another Bone Crusher Giant so that you have, like, you're still doing things more on curve at 2 mana. But outside of that, I mean, you got a really solid list here. I'm just concerned about your mana base. I'm just concerned about you blood mooning yourself, because you are still heavy on black and you have a little bit of white. But you're pretty heavy on black, so you definitely need to find these swamps, and I would replace the arid mesas with marsh flats, so you're given the chance to do that. Yeah, like Arcanist in Legacy is just a completely different deal. There's less removal, and there's more ways of defending your Arcanist. There's 3 bolts in here, and there's Smiting Helix, I think, as a pseudo bolt. Pseudo bolt. Maybe add a Lily. I think the Lily is like the Kaya's Guile. I think like Real Lily is a solid card, but I think it's a bit overrated. Metamorphose was played in the not season Pyromancer, the young Pyromancer builds, because you got a trigger off of it. So you could fix your mana, and also, how do you submit the list? Go into my description. Go find my Discord, join my Discord, go to Decklist, review the channel, and then enter this command, ! Review deck space, give the URL, and then give the URL to your deck. Maybe the Kaya Planeswalker for the sideboard, but like there's still a lot of good stuff here in this sideboard, and we have a Chandra Torch of Defiance. The only weak card I see in this sideboard that I might get rid of is Smiting Helix. I think that's the only awkward card I see here. But, you know, maybe it's good against Burn. Who knows? Maybe this is like a decent like removal spell and a card against Burn. Actually, yeah, Magmatic Chandler's not too bad for this deck. Oops, where is it? Well, Blood Moon is still good. I mean, Blood Moon was... This is like classic Mardu Pyromancer, and what made the deck good was its ability to use Blood Moon. But it didn't play Pathway lands. It most definitely did not play Pathway lands. I'd be fearful that these Pathway lands are going to fuck us over. I think the deck is solid overall. I think the deck is solid. There is nothing really to change. If I were to change a whole lot, it would be just nitpicking. I might remove the Ransack the Lab for another Bone Crusher Giant, but that's about it. But thank you very much for submitting the list. Great, solid list. Good luck with it. I think more people should be playing Mardu Pyromancer. Lee Zeg, congratulations. You are the next contestant on Deck List Review. Grinding Breach Ascendancy. Holy fuck. This is going to be hard. Oh, did we see this thing before? Okay, I need help, people, because like it's very hard for me. I mean, the deck looks clean just from the start. Actually, this deck looks really clean. So this is the Thassa's Oracle, Emery, Psy, Master Thopterus, Teferi Time Raveler, Serum Visions, Engineered Explosives, Mishra's Bauble, Mox Amber. Can we use this thing reliably? Oh yeah, definitely. It doesn't matter if we use it. We need this card anyway. We absolutely need this card as part of the Underworld Breach engine. Chromatic Star, Pyrite Spellbomb, Grinding Station. Why did this deck die? I like don't know. It was big shit for like a week. It was like the hot stuff for a week, and then it just disappeared. It's just gone. What's up with that? And it's using Jeskai Ascendancy. Oh my god. So you've got like 2 convoluted combos in one deck. I have like nothing to say about this list, mostly because well, first off, I like that the list is super clean. Like it's super squeaky clean. You know what cards you want in this deck. You really know what cards you want in this deck. You're maxed out on 4-ofs. So if anyone doesn't know, you use Grinding Station, sacrifice an artifact. Target player puts the top 3 cards of their library into their graveyard. Whenever an artifact comes into play, you can untap Grinding Station. The idea is you combine that with Underworld Breach. Each non-land card in your graveyard has escape. The escape cost is equal to the card's converted mana cost plus exile 3 other cards. So that's great. So you play like Mox Amber from your graveyard. You exile 3 cards, then you can sack it with Grinding Station to mill 3 more cards. Target player is you. You're milling yourself. So you get down to no cards, get your Thassa's Oracle in the graveyard, and then you bring Thassa's Oracle back and you win. And I'm guessing Jeskai Ascendancy is just another way of consistently doing this, grinding more cards into the graveyard, because you are still casting it, right? Has escape. The escape cost. You may cast cards from your graveyard. So this just compounds really hard. Well, only 3 Grinding Stations? That's a good question. So if we play a 4th one, is the user here? Lindsay, are you here? Maybe it's just easy to find between Emery, your Serum Visions, and I mean, Jeskai Ascendancy by itself is like pretty good at digging for stuff. Yeah, I agree. It's the main. It's like it's the main engine card. Like without this card, like the deck is nothing. I don't have a good answer though. But then again, well, okay, it's a main engine card, but this card is nothing unless you have Underworld Breach. Like this card literally does nothing if you don't have Underworld Breach. And the Underworld Breach and Jeskai Ascendancy themselves can do a little bit without Grinding Station, because you can act like a pseudo control deck for a little while with Engineered Explosives and Teferi Time Raveler. I don't really have any feedback though. That's interesting. You can play Manamo and to untap your Emery. That's interesting. Maybe I should play Emery and Merfolk just to see what the fuck happens. There are some builds where I have like a bunch of artifacts. I got like Chalice of the Void. Maybe I can start playing with, I don't know, playing with Engineered Explosives. Well, Emery can bring it back easily, but what about finding the card in the first place? It's not a matter of being able to grind it out. It's a matter of like, if this is one of the main combo pieces, you want to like maximize your chances of finding it. Like it might be better to have a Grinding Station in the deck over a Chromatic Star. But I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't know what the old list looked like, because I very rarely play these type. I mean, there's a lot of decks I don't play, but like I most seriously don't play these decks. But also, I don't even play it through the perspective of my opponent playing it. Like I'm just almost ignoring what my opponent is doing when I play these decks. If I tap out, I just F6 and let it go. So Jeskai Ascendancy plus Emery and a 0-drop is a win con. Why is that? Okay. Oh, you see this, people? This is pretty sick. Okay, so you have Emery. I've never heard of that before. Jeskai Ascendancy, and you have say Mox Amber. Hold on, how do you sacrifice it though? You mean because you can't sack it with these 3 cards. You need like Mishra's Bauble is a 0-drop, or an Engineered Explosives is a 0-drop that you can play from the graveyard. So it can't be Mox Amber. But okay, so you have Emery. You bring back Mishra's Bauble off of Jeskai Ascendancy. Jeskai Ascendancy will let you untap your creature. You untap and you loot, and you untap your Emery, Lurker of the Lock. Like that is great. That is great. So that actually is even better. So that's why. So this is not the main combo. There are 2 combos in here, and Jeskai Ascendancy facilitates 1/2. It's actually really, really good. You can sack Bauble or Mox if you have 1 or more in your grave. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, so through the legend rule, we can get that combo with Mox Amber, because if there's you bring back one from the graveyard, enters the battlefield, make the other Mox Amber sacrifice itself to the graveyard, or it doesn't matter. Any Mox Amber can go to the graveyard, and then you can loop that over and over again using the legendary rule. That's pretty sick. That's great. Yeah. That's really cool. That's really cool. I've never seen that before. Has that never been tried? I've never, or maybe, I want to say like maybe I was up against this deck and I just never saw that interaction ever happen. Maybe I never let my opponent get the chance. But like that, I mean, and like, so basically, if you go like Emery into Jeskai Ascendancy, you win. Like turn 2 Emery, turn 3 Jeskai Ascendancy, like start sacking your 0 drops, boom. That's just GG. You cannot recast Mox after bringing it back with Emery if it goes to the graveyard the turn you brought it back. What do you mean? So there's already a Mox in play. We tap Emery to bring another Mox onto the battlefield. That'll trigger Jeskai Ascendancy. We loot, discard a card, and also untap our Emery. Now there are 2 Mox Ambers in play. One of them will go to the graveyard, and then we can just repeat the process. Tap Emery and get it back. Yeah, playing Grape Shot might be overkill. Is there one in the sideboard? Is there one in here? I don't see it. Yeah, exactly. That's what I was thinking at first, but I forgot about the legend rule. This has got to be the best Underworld Breach deck I've seen on this on my show. And the list looks great. The list looks really good. I don't even know what exactly the problem is. Maybe I'm not sure, but maybe you should have that unearthed creature in here just in case people kill your Emery. So you just have another backup plan for Jeskai Ascendancy. I don't know. Maybe all these fucking 0 drops are going to be more than enough, because that whenever you cast a non-creature spell, so all these things are going to trigger. This deck looks incredibly consistent. It looks very, very consistent. Slip in Charbelcher for fun. Well, you need to have no lands though. Monastery Mentor? I think that's a bit cute. It's possible though. Like it's a decent sideboard plan. Oh yeah, you're right. Pirate's Bile Bomb is Grape Shot in this deck. But you need the mana, right? How are you generating the mana? Oh, probably from some Chromatic Star thing. Or Mox Amber, I should say. Anyway, sweet list. That was really cool. I have nothing to say about this. I have nothing to say about this. And thanks for actually not only sharing us your list, but also sharing this interaction between Jeskai Ascendancy and Emery. I had never heard of this. I've been playing Modern for a very long time, but I never heard about this interaction. Is this like a new interaction, or has people seen this before? Why Master Thopterist? So this is basically your Monastery Mentor, basically. But you can also sack your creatures to draw cards. And it's more resistant to removal because it's a 1/4 creature. This was a classic card always played in like Krark Clan Ironworks or any like stupid artifact deck. So it's an old interaction. I'd never heard of it until now. Nikachu, they recently banned Uro in Historic and he was vital in Paradox combo. Are familiar with the deck? No, sorry, I'm not. But like the Paradox combo probably can survive off of something else. If I don't know if anything exists right now in Pioneer, but if maybe something new will be popping up in the future. I've been thinking about playing that interaction since 2015. Is that possible? Emery wasn't printed that long ago. Emery's a new card. Would this be good in Historic? Do you have all the cards for Historic? I don't think you have Bobble or Engineered Explosives, which are pretty important. I don't even know if you have Jeskai Ascendancy. So you're missing a lot of pieces. Yeah, I remember the Opal and Urza thing, but it didn't have Jeskai Ascendancy. Or I don't remember it having Jeskai. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Jeskai Ascendancy was part of that deck all along. I remember Underworld Breach. I remember all these other cards, but I don't remember Jeskai Ascendancy. And they also use Grape Shot as a win condition. This one is not. Anyway, sweet list. That's pretty cool. All right, I'm sorry, everyone. That's it for Decklist review. But if I didn't get your comments, question, or Decklist, don't worry. We do this Monday to Friday, 9 o'clock a.m. Central Standard Time. So there's always time to have more conversation and Decklist review. I love it. You all love it. And you know where to find me. Also, if you love Coffee and MTG and you want to support the channel, you can leave a sub at twitch.tv/Nikachu MTG, and you can support the channel for free. If you've got an Amazon Prime, go check out. If you have Amazon Prime, it's as easy as linking it to your Twitch account, and then you can easily support the channel for no cost to you because you're already paying for it with Amazon Prime, and you actually support the channel. It's amazing. What an amazing I want to say interaction that Jeff Bezos created, but interaction feels too magic-like. Or you can also become a patron on patreon.com/Nikachu MTG, or you can join on YouTube. Somehow the least popular way of supporting the channel, but you have access to emotes. No one's showing off the emotes here on Coffee and MTG. That's okay. Everyone's supporting in their own way. It's all good with me. So, as usual, keep brewing up that coffee. We'll keep brewing up that magic conversation. Take care, and I'll see you next time.